is economics change if the peoples that is invest and government push for that invest. That is government not only does allow the that is a multi commodity cold storage at near to big cities, not near the metros. But if the government push for that, that is there is some lock-in for that. That is at the farm level, where our trucks are goes in the that is market, and that is trucks carrying grapes from Nasik to Delhi. Trucks getting unloaded in 2 days. Why did it getting unloaded in 2 days? One day the trader sell half quantity of it. If he is unable to sell the another half, the trucks has to keep for 1 more days. Because if he keep in cold storage person will charge for a full 1 week. That's why that is our assets are being utilized in a different manner. Turnaround time of that is vehicles are getting delays. Vehicle reaches in the evening. In the Saturday evening, the cold storage are closed. Then it will take 2 days, 3 days to get vehicle unloaded and return to be there. If we are not sensitive to that issues, that I think that is the resources are not to be utilized at the full. Resources are available as of now, but that is are being used in a different manner. If we are not going to use the resources in a right manner, that is, then always there will be a challenge in utilization, there always been a challenge in profitability, there always been a challenge in availability. This is only this is adding to the point.
Thank you, Mr. Bhupender. Point well made. So the assets have been retained just because of people not available or the cold store space being expensive or by being the weekends. So it's true in some cases. Yeah. So. Okay, now since we have taken quite a bit of time for the speakers to deliver their own point of view, we will limit our panel questions maximum to 5 or 6 or even to 3 or so, basis how long it's going to take. Then we'll open the questions to the forum. Okay. Yeah, probably both Hitinji and Mr. Tarun can answer this. Now, the potato tonnage is hitting 45 million metric tons per annum, right? So it is varying, 41 3 years back, 45 in between, then again 41, 42, and this year probably it could be 45 million metric tons, which is a cold storable one. The next one is bananas, which is in the region of 28 to 30 million metric tons, if I remember correct, right? Then mangoes in the region of 18 to 20 million metric tons. Bananas and mangoes are the ripening fruits, are to be ripened, right? And especially given the government banning regulation on non-carbide free, right? Non-carbide ripening, right? Then apples being another 2 million metric tons, am I correct? Right? So now, really, if you could see, the market is accepting spotless, yellow, the cold store ripened bananas. It is accepting, So now, do you see, the private players and the governments are jointly putting hands together to set up these kind of cold chain requirements, meeting these cold chain requirements in major growing locations, please.
No, I think that's a great point. And I feel that government has already taken enough initiatives. Me as an entrepreneur, I always look at the project on a standalone viability basis and not at what government are keen to offer. It's a good incentive though. But as far as cold chain is concerned, I think in the urban cities, if I talk about, there is significant amount of cold chain already in existence. It is not about cold chain as far as perishable and as far as the bananas and mangoes and ripening that we are talking about. It is about consumer acceptance to the price. There are two different broad functional areas which I will talk about. One functional area is the one with the modern supply chain. So let's say the modern players who are bringing in the produce at this value and following the entire value chain and then ripening it and then selling it to the retailer and then packaging it, branding it, using the pack houses. There are costs to it. At the same time, these guys have to compete with traditional players who are not doing anything of this. And they have the farm price and they have in a 14 tonnage truck, they have a 20-ton payload. And then they directly bring it to the wholesale level at the cheapest price possible. So currently the challenge of competing in the same set of one functional group which are smaller to the other functional group is the bigger challenge. And then I would, yeah.
Tarun have rightly said,
Yeah, you're audible.
yeah, Tarun have rightly said that there are two kind of segments. One is traditional and one is, you can say, a modern cold chain. According to our experience, we are far more competitive than the traditional. We make better money than the traditional market, traditional supplier. The reason behind is the fruit which we procure at the farm level and go through the hydro cooling and then put it into our cold chain system has a better percentage of premium fruit. See, this is a very critical analysis we have done in-house, that the amount of premium fruit we are able to sell through the cold chain after the procurement is the much more higher in terms of percentage. Maybe sometimes it is more than 20 to 25% than the traditional route which has been applied by the local farmer with the low cost logistic, low cost of packaging, and eventually at selling at the same competitive price, we make a better money out of it. So what it is, the value addition in the chain. The notional loss which we talk about, that India is losing this much money, this much amount, where the wastage is? Normally when the truck is loaded from somewhere in the Himachal to the Calcutta, the 15 truck when reaches at Calcutta, it is weighing 14,500 kgs. Where those 500 kgs of apple have gone? It is basically now we have to understand. When we do that supply chain, our 15 tons of apple reached 15 tons because of the cold chain and making our minimized losses at the farm level itself. So we are making half a ton of fruit extra, first of all. Second, the premium quality of the produce is better than what the typical farmer. So if my produce and his produce is selling at the same price, maybe at the premium price is 100 rupees a kg, for example. But ultimately, I am selling 90% of the premium in that lot and in that consignment, and he is selling 50% of the premium in that particular consignment. So here we make money. So this is actually a right formula of a cold chain, where you actually implicate the cold chain in a true manner. Every part of a cold chain is related to the value addition to the produce. If we understand this concept, and this has not been understood by the logistic companies, because they simply run their truck on kilometer basis. This is a model which we adopted in our own company, that we only run our trucks for horticulture producers. We have a very small fleet, not as big fleet as Tarun have. A very small fleet, maybe of 17 odd reefer trucks, but all our trucks are been designed on a palletized system. We are one of the company who have actually been delivered a pallet which has been packed in the Washington pack house, has been delivered in Azadpur Sabzi Mandi in a palletized form. So here we have made money. Here when we talk about the competition, the Washington apple which is been selling by other people in the industry and selling by us is same. But only thing is, when our boxes been get emptied by the retailer, he come rushing back to us, just because our apple is not been touched. Touched means a mark on it. Whereas the other person who is brought in a cold chain, but in a normal reefer truck, but it was not been palletized. So who is actually a decision maker? A decision maker is a street vendor. A vendor, when he opens the box and when he starts selling 1 kg of apple of the box, then he starts realizing that whose apple is getting more touching, more damaged. Touching means damaged. I'm talking about my traditional language. So this is a key factor of understanding of the knowledge which we understood by how this value chain will actually go forward. Every truck of our has been, when transported from point A to point B, is loaded with ethylene scrubber. I do not know what the industry is doing because I always focus on my own. I'm the most highest critic is come from in-house in our company.
One sec. Ethylene scrubber is the one, typically some of the produce would generate the ethylene. Okay, upon generating the ethylene, some produce will become sensitive to that. For example, upon any ripening process, you see the ethylene coming up, which would impact some of the leafy vegetables, right? Typically, in rest of the world, they put ethylene scrubbers to absorb the ethylene so that there isn't any damage to the produce. Yeah, please, go ahead.
But this need lot of R&D. Bringing those ethylene scrubbers from Europe, from US, then applying them in our vehicles, and then running them successfully, monitoring them. It is a very a different job altogether. But ultimately, it start paying up today. We start thinking that the investments we made into this sector today it's being getting back to us in the term of acceptability and the premiumness of our produce. Our price is not different. If Washington apple is selling 120 rupees a kg in Delhi market, we are also selling 120. But only thing is, when the fruit which we are being sold from our outlet has more freshness. So customer comes to our outlet first, we get sold out first. That is the opportunity where we are making money.
Tarun, you wanted to say something further?
To conclude, I would say if, there are more entrepreneurs like Mr. Suri, which we need in the industry to grow the industry to this level, So what he has spoken about is good, yes, I agree. And the retail will pay the price in case you give them quality. But at the same time, the competition will remain. So there's enough cold chain and slow transition is happening by the consumer going on to paying higher value. And probably in a decade, you would see a very big shift. And as soon as an entrepreneur and a company making more money over that value addition and he becomes profitable, you will see more investments. So, yeah.
Okay.
During my short speech on the Make in India, if you go to Middle East, Southeast Asia, you will see a driver comes out of the truck. He unloaded the truck entirely by himself because of the back lifts. I can say 99% of the reefer trucks in India don't have back lifts. So what about talking about palletization? If you have a palletization, your truck need a backlift. So the question raises that I don't see backlift on the trucks when I see they're moving in my fruit market. And due to my own impatientness, I installed some backlift on my trucks, which cost me equal to the 4 lakh rupees of one backlift after importing from somewhere from the Southeast Asia, which is not a very fine product. If I buy similar product from somewhere else, it may cost me higher. But ultimately, I have seen that using that backlift, my operational cost has reduced to a very, in a competition, it came to a very narrow level of expenditure. Secondly, my truck driver is unloading the entire truck. So this make me more experimental. But ultimately, if I make that backlift in India, it may not cost rupees more than 1 lakh. So entire industry will adopt it. So level of the industry will go up. It is not the level of each one single company will go up. It will be the level of entire industry I'm talking about.
Mr. Bhupender, you want to?
Yeah, this is rightly said. That is, him installed. That is the unloading process facilitators in the trucks. Similarly, we already have seen that is all trucks carrying scooters and cars all have that is lifts in their vehicles installed because they are designed for that, and they are being paid for that. if that is he has smaller fleet size who cater their needs, they can design the vehicle, customize. The custom vehicles can be design. Fleet owners can design their vehicles. Why cannot they design? If there is some dedication, there is some standardization in the industry, the vehicles can be standardized and that is designed to meet the that is industry demand. As of now, that is vehicles runs on, as Mr. Suri said, that is on kilometer basis because the industry demands that from that is fleet owners. Only few customers are there that is who demands this kind of activity, and for few customers the whole system will not change until unless there is demand in the market for the larger in largest perspective.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my experience. I may take a couple of minutes. When I was part of the Reliance Retail, I was given an opportunity to head the fruits and vegetable division. I had to start everything from scratch. Before that, in McDonald's, I helped to set up the supply chain for iceberg lettuce, which wasn't there in this country when we started in '95. Today, India grows 20,000 metric tons of iceberg lettuce. So the seeds were sown during mid-90s by me. I'm happy to see that. Similarly, potato, imported 100 tubers. And when we started in Reliance, there wasn't any organized retail typically there. So I have to start everything from scratch. So good that we had good investor, Mr. Ambani, and he had given everything along with Mr. Manoj Modi. And all we got to present is the sensible business case. Hey, this is how India's